Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. Been one of those crazy long days. It's not even 2 o'clock here yet. Woke up pretty early, got out the door, went to work. Probably only been home maybe 20 minutes. It's just been one of those long days. So I figured I'd come on here and maybe we could talk, hang out. If anyone wants to show up, feel free to. Um, and Yeah, we can talk some sports. News out of Georgia, I'll say this, and I hate delivering news like this, but I mean, it's national news now in the sports world. Police are investigating rape allegations against a Georgia linebacker. And it's actually a big time starting guy, Adam Anderson. He's outside linebacker. Um, nothing's even been confirmed official, but obviously investigating that, keeping an eye on it, and just, uh, yeah. I mean, look, it's like one of those you hope that if he is guilty, you hope they lock him up. I think it's a good thing. I don't. Anyway, you know, but you're always hoping like, oh God, please don't let this be true. This story better be CNN fake news type stuff here or whatever. But it is what it is. Um, so there's a lot of stuff actually we could talk about. I know it's the BSM. Well, it's not even the BSM podcast. I might maybe do some more of those. I don't know, but I mean, we're just kind of hanging out. Let's just talk some sports, um, and everything like that. We could go ahead and do a final pick 'em for tomorrow's games. I plan on going live for the Alabama LSU game. That's at 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time here in Alabama. So I'll probably go live for that. And Yeah, so, but yeah, y'all hit that thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. Um, and Yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and pull. Hold on, let me go get my mouse real quick. Make this easier on myself. All right, make this a little easier. So let me go ahead and share screen. Yeah, feel free to comment too if you want. I might drop the StreamYard link here in a second, maybe. We'll see. But um, I hope everyone's having a good day. Um, I'm having at least, it's just long, if anything, is what I'll say. I mean, I had to be at work at 7. And I only worked till 12:30, but man, it felt like forever. It honestly did. That's just being an adult. That's just life. So we have a game tonight. I could maybe do a stream for that. We'll see what happens, but um, so let me share screen. All right, let me know if you guys can see that. Happy holidays, by the way, too. I'll tell you what. Every other radio station in the car on the way home today, I kid you not, was playing Christmas music. Now, Honestly, I always look forward to the holidays, so I really don't care. If it's in like April or May or whatever, I'm like, okay, y'all got some issues. But I mean, it's the start of November. Let's go ahead and get ready for it. Eventually, they're just going to keep pushing this stuff like further and further, and we're just going to have it year round. I don't know. Anyways, let's look at this first one here. We got two games tonight. Boston College, Virginia Tech. Both are ACC, of course, and then you have Utah and Stanford. So let's see. So Braxton Burtmeister, and Dennis Grosel, the quarterback comparison there, and they're pretty similar. Not a whole lot of offense, but some pretty average and decent defense there. Look at this game. It's in Boston College, but they favor the Hokies just a little bit more. Boston College looking for their first conference win. They're 0-4. They're 4-4 overall. They looked like they had an interesting start to the season, but they've dropped the last 4 games. What is that saying? I don't know. It's a 2.5-point spread. Hey, Dwayne RTR, how you doing, man? Roll Tide. I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you've been doing good and enjoying the football season so far, man. Let's one game at a time. Let's go take on LSU. But good to see you in here, Dwayne. Roll Tide, buddy. Back to this one. 2.5-point spread. Or I can put it right here. 2.5 points. This is tonight at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Oh, this will be tough to call. Boston College needs a win, at least in conference play. Somewhere, right? I mean, they'll get it at some point, hopefully. I really don't want to touch this game. There's a part of me that says maybe Boston could get it done, but at the same time, I like the way the Hokies are going. They had a pretty good win against Georgia Tech last week, but doesn't everybody have a good win against them? They're losing. Their offense is struggling, but it seems like it picked up a little bit against Syracuse. This is one you don't mess with. I'd say Hokies, but I don't know. I really don't. I think that was the only game, at least for tonight. Well, no, they got this Utah and Stanford. Utah is favored by 10. They're leading the division right now I think they're in the Pac-12 South, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I get the Pac-12 divisions mixed up. Yeah, they're in the South. They're first in the Pac-12 South. They're 5-3. They beat Weber State 40-17 to start out. They lost to BYU. They lost to San Diego State, both road games, but they picked it up. Beat Washington State, beat USC, beat Arizona State, who was number 18. They beat UCLA. UCLA got off to a pretty hot start. Now, they're not going to make the playoffs. They could win the Pac-12 and beat Oregon. Of course, that will definitely keep Oregon out of the playoffs. Oregon's in a good spot to win the Pac-12 with one loss and potentially run the table. I'm going to say, oh, God. I'm going to say Utah gets this one. You got Cameron Rising as the quarterback. You got the key running back, Tavion Thomas, and you got Dalton Kincaid in receiving. They're scoring about 33 points a game. Stanford, their defense, or really I should say their offense, I meant to say, is not good at all. Their defense is average. This is tough. I'm going to say Utah. I'm going to take a bold claim and say Utah just blows Stanford out of the water here. I'm going to say that. If I have to make a score prediction, I don't know. I might say Utah 38 to, I don't know. 38-23, maybe, over Stanford. That's my take. Give me Utah there. And again, I think Boston College will get the Hokies, get their first conference win, but we'll see. So those are tonight's two games. Army, Air Force, take Army. I mean, Army's a better team, but thank you to the servicemen and women out there, and of course the Army Academy and Air Force, Naval, and everybody wanting to serve and serving. We appreciate you. Pull for all the teams. You just hope for a good one. Georgia and Missouri. This is a tough one to call. Actually, it's really not. Sarcasm. Look, this is how bad Missouri is that they have a 1.4% chance against Georgia. 1.4. Nah, I'm just kidding. Georgia, look, I know I joke with them. They're great. They actually have a competitive team this year. 39.5 points. I mean, I wouldn't have expected this from Stetson Bennett and Georgia this year. 6.6 points allowed per game. This defense is scary good. I don't know if I want to even talk to these players. They're big. They're fast. I mean, it's incredible to see what Kirby is doing this year. It's surprising in some ways. I mean, like, I picked Georgia already that they were going to win the title. I just didn't know they would be this elite and dominant. There, I said it. They're elite. Georgia is an elite, not program, but team. There's a difference. This year, they are elite. Now, they're going to lose some key pieces this year, and don't get it twisted now. Kirby's going to keep building this program up. Is it going to be a dynasty? We won't go that far. I do think next year they do take a step back, but for right now, until I see any reason to, I pick Georgia to win every game. Give me Georgia over this Missouri team, and I actually think they might cover 39.5. Connor Bazelak and Missouri are not having a good year offensively. I mean, I guess in some cases they are, but I mean, look, their defense, man, I mean, they gave up 62 to Tennessee. They gave up 28 to Vandy. Oh, my God. 36 points allowed per game even for Missouri right there. That's ridiculous. If you're allowing that many points in the SEC, come on, Missouri. And it wasn't but a few months ago in the offseason when Chess and I were doing the show and we were previewing teams. I mean, he said flat out, the team going to give Georgia trouble is going to be Missouri, and they'll be the second best SEC East team. They're practically at the bottom, just ahead of Vandy. I mean, they're not that good. They're really not. Now, do I think Eli Drinkwitz could go forward and maybe in 22, 23, like, could they pick it up? Yeah, if they can handle some recruiting and just recruit and develop some players, I think they'll be okay. But this year is not a good year for them, and they're just going to make it even worse by losing to Georgia. And again, I know Georgia's the number one team. Oh, it's not bad to lose to Georgia because they're an elite, dominant program. Look at, because of Kirby and all. I get that, man. But if you're in Missouri's position, you need another win at some point. Let alone in the SEC, you're 1-3. in conference play. Now, the A&M loss isn't bad. Tennessee is, I mean, you gave up 62 to the Vols. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's Georgia, and it's not even close, at least in this game. I mean, Georgia's so good. They beat Auburn. And Auburn's actually looking better than they should this year. Ohio State at Nebraska. I think I'm going to go Ohio State. They're picking it up. They're looking great. They're 5-0 in conference play. Nebraska, 17.5% chance. Their offense is the key issue, but they got a decent defense. 14.5 spread. I think the Buckeyes will get the win. I take the points with them too. Good yards. Their defense, though, is really not that good, honestly. I mean, look, Maryland, Rutgers, Akron, really, those aren't offenses. Nebraska really doesn't have one either. I really don't think Ohio State's going to face any offense until maybe Michigan State or Michigan. Really Michigan State, which I think is probably their next game, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. It should be. No, they got Purdue, and then they got Michigan State. Then they got Michigan. And they got to go to Ann Arbor. Of course, they own that one. But, I mean, like, could Michigan finally get Ohio State this year? Of course. No doubt. But give me Ohio State in this one big. You want to score, God, 55-17. I don't know. Now this could be a trap game here. Let's keep moving. Let's look actually at this one, because this could be a trap game for Michigan State. Is this where they fall? They got a 60.7% chance to win this game. Purdue is 5-3, 3-2 in conference play. Michigan State undefeated at both, 8-0 on the year, 5-0 in Big Ten games. 3-point spread in favor of the Spartans. Peyton Thorne, Kenneth Walker are looking amazing. Kenneth Walker is the best running back that I have seen this year in college football. He's fast. He's electric. As long as the O-line is there and blocking for him, I think he's going to have a great game. The secondary does have to step it up because they got David Bell. He's one of the top receivers going into the draft. Definitely, I think, the best one in the Big Ten. Well, no, I take that back because you'll have guys drafted like Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. Maybe he'd be third best in the Big Ten. I don't know. But anyway, this is a game where Michigan State favored to win, sure. But they have to step it up. They got to bring their A game because Purdue does have some pretty good defense, believe it or not. They're looking really good. I'll say this. Here's how I feel about this game right here. You have Purdue, who's 5-3, second in the Big Ten West, just behind Iowa, of course, who has taken a step back. And I've taken time, plenty of it, to just kind of rip on Iowa. I'm not even trying to rip on Iowa. I'm actually kind of disappointed because I was looking forward to maybe seeing them make the Big Ten title, but of course that didn't happen. But looking at this game, how I feel about it, Aiden O'Connell has a 71 completion percentage, 9 touchdowns, 12 sacks, 8 picks. Longest play is 60 yards. The offensive line is a big issue for Purdue. They've allowed 12 sacks this year. Aiden O'Connell, he's not bad. King Daru, has 92 rushing attempts, 363 yards, averaging 3.9 yards a carry. 3.9. The run game's not all that good, although give them some credit. I mean, it's not explosive at least. I mean, on paper, it looks worse than it actually is for Purdue when you look at it. But the key guy is David Bell, right? And I can't wait to see these receivers go at it. You have Jaden Reed of Michigan State, and you have David Bell of Purdue. David Bell is looking like a day 2 guy right now, but tell you what, he picks it up. You know, he's very fast. He can catch practically any ball you throw to him. If this offense can pick it up and he can pick it up, he could potentially be a first round receiver, maybe. But when I look at this game, Michigan State, until they prove me otherwise, I'd pick them to win pretty much every game on their schedule, maybe outside of Ohio State. No. Not sure if you guys heard that. I apologize. The line is 3 points, which, give credit to Purdue. That's a tough place to go and play, too, in the Big Ten. They always pull upsets. They got Ohio State a few years ago. Is this where Michigan State takes their loss? Maybe. But maybe not. Purdue lost to Wisconsin at home. They lost to Minnesota. They beat Iowa, of course. They beat Nebraska. They beat Illinois. Michigan State, they beat everybody else. Their defense is looking pretty good outside of the Michigan game, although it was able to hold on at the end. It's going to be tough. I'm going to take Michigan State, which that's an easy call. The question is, do they 3 points? I think they could cover that. How much is Purdue going to put up? That's my question. If I got to give a score, oh, crap. This will be interesting. I don't know, 30 to 21, Michigan State. I mean, Purdue's scoring 22 points a game, and Michigan State's allowing around 20 points a game, but their defense seems to be making some good improvements lately, looking all right, not too bad. So, anyway, give me Michigan State in this one. I'm not going to pick all these. Cincinnati over Tulsa. Notre Dame Navy could be interesting. I'm probably going to take Notre Dame in South Bend. I guess I could go ahead and get to this one because this is going to be interesting and fun to call. Auburn versus Texas A&M. Now, A&M, of course, beating Alabama a few weeks ago. I keep bringing it up. I mean, it's bigger than you think. You had Jimbo Fisher, the first Saban assistant to ever beat him. You have the streak that Alabama has of the wins against unranked teams. I mean, A&M 2 to 3 weeks ago was unranked. They're now a top 15 team. This is a top 15 matchup. Biggest game of the SEC this weekend. And I'm really high on both of these teams. I want a good Iron Bowl this year. And in order for that to happen, Auburn cannot lose another conference game. Here's where it gets interesting. Because I was fixing to say LSU. I don't know. But Bo Nix is not taking his foot off the gas for the offense. He is incredible. He's already thrown for over 1,000 yards. He's only got 2 picks. He's got 9 touchdowns. Tank Bigsby's carrying the team too. He's got 666 rushing yards off 125 carries and 7 touchdowns. Zach Calzada's pretty amazing too at the quarterback position. Got over 1,000 yards as well, 1,364. He's got 12 touchdowns. He's got 7 picks, though. That's 5 more than Bo Nix. Isaiah Spiller's amazing. I'm interested to see the running backs go at it. Like, you ever just want to see that? Like, just put both running backs on the field and see who can hit the goal line first from one end to the other. I want to see that between Bigsby and Spiller. You know, uh, you got a key tight end and Jalen Weidemeyer, the lead receiver for A&M. You got Kobe Hudson, the lead receiver for Auburn. How do they match up? I like Weidemeyer better than Kobe Hudson, but Kobe Hudson's having a better year. I like Weidemeyer as his style of play and being a tight end and a receiver. But Kobe Hudson, obviously, with better stats and better performance and play this year, the lead receiver for the Auburn Tigers. Auburn is scoring 34.9, round at 35 points a game. And I just see this team really getting better each week. They're only allowing 19 points a game. Now, A&M's only giving up 16. That's like a field goal less. But A&M, as good as their offense seems to be, they're only scoring around 29 points a game. They haven't really had much. I mean, the past 3 games, yeah, they've won. They're on a pretty good win streak of 3. They haven't lost since October 2nd, talking a month ago, and that was even a home game against Mississippi State. They lost at home to Mississippi State and Arkansas. Now, they've turned it around, right? They have. And they're back on track. I think if they get back a loss like Mississippi State, right, let's say they find a way to win that game at home instead of losing it like that, they're 7-1, not 6-2, and they're looking like they could, even still be a team for the West, which I think if they play, teams play their cards, right, they probably still could, but they have to beat Auburn. I think that they can, but man, I'm telling you, I have a gut feeling Auburn's going to pull off some crazy season to get a winner-take-all Iron Bowl, and I think it's going to continue on, and they're going to get it done here. I'm going to say Auburn wins this game, and I think it's because of Bo Nix, and I think that it is because of, Tank Bigsby. They got a good – I think really I liked Brian Hartson. I like hearing him in his press conferences. He's very motivated. He's straightforward and to the point. And, he doesn't really mess around. He's very, outspoken too. Ultimately, it's a 4.5-point spread. This is going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be it's like one of those, there's some offense, but there's really some good SEC defense play. I think it's going to come down to the wire. And quite honestly, I don't know. I'm going to say Auburn pulls this one out. I'm going to say Auburn 28, A&M 24, and they win by 4. And I think the defense for Auburn, and they have some pretty good defense too, I think that they find a way to get a stop. You're looking at some key guys on that defense. And yeah, they've lost some guys too, but look at some secondary players at Zacoby McClain, linebacker's not really considered secondary, but sometimes they drop a guy like that back. You got him. You got Chandler Wooten, Zion Puckett, Smoke Monday, Derek Hall, Roger McCreary, to name a few defensive players. McCreary is like the lead corner. He's got 26 tackles. He's got a pick 6. He's got 2 interceptions, Owen Papo, Nehemiah Pritchett. There's a few key guys you got to watch out for. And yeah, I like Isaiah Spiller. I like Weidemeyer. And trust me, they're going to put some points up. Again, I'm saying 28-24. But and Crimson Brave even says it depends on what A&M team shows up. Yeah, I mean, they need whatever mindset. Like, Jimbo just might as well go ahead and just say, hey, we're going to beat Harsin and rightfully kick his ass. Like he said about Nick Saban, if he really wants to pull this one out and have a plan, but I just have a feeling Auburn's going to pull this one out. I don't know what it is. They're on a good roll, and yeah, I mean, still. But I'll take the Tigers over the Aggies. I'm just going to end. I'm going to stop talking about this game. I really don't care. I mean, Auburn's not even – they're at least better than I thought they would be. But like Crimson's saying here in the comments too, I'm also tired of hearing all this hype for Auburn. They literally struggled to beat a terrible LSU team. That's true. Barely beat a completely beat up Ole Miss team. That's fair. Give me A&M at College Station, and I could agree with that at some point. They also lost to Georgia too. So, yeah, they've definitely had some bad losses and everything like that. But speaking of, I'm actually going to hear this one a little later on. But we've never had a 2-loss playoff team in the CFP era. And Auburn, if they win the SEC in 2017, they're the first to ever get there with 2 losses, honestly. And, could we have that? I mean, Auburn, again, they have to play their cards right. They got a really high chance to win the West this year, but they got to get past Alabama. They also, they got to get past A&M, this weekend. And, again, I think that they're going to – I just think that they'll find a way to get that. And they probably, honestly, I would not be surprised if they don't lose again until the Iron Bowl. And it wouldn't even surprise me if they won that one. I don't want that. I want Alabama. I never want Alabama to lose to anybody. I want us to win every single game. I have good confidence in this team, but let's just call it what it is. We're not going back to back. Now, 2022, and Jeff Webster comes on here all the time, 22, 23, 24, so on with recruiting, it's not going to end for Alabama. They're not going anywhere. This is just one of those bumps in the roads, They took the loss to A&M, which we saw coming. They were going to take a loss somewhere. It just so happened that Jimbo was dead serious about what he said in the offseason. He was serious. But, I figured it'd be Ole Miss to start. I figured that offense would be a bit too much, and it might break the defense a little. Because the defense, it was kind of up and down there. I don't know. I mean, it was good for the first few weeks. Then you have the Florida game. It kind of struggled. I mean, they gave up some points to Ole Miss, but the offense pulled it out somehow. And I'll tell you what, look, the offense is getting to championship level. It's working its way there. And Bryce is doing a phenomenal job. Came out of nowhere. I knew Bryce was going to be good when he got to Alabama. I didn't expect you know what I've seen the past couple weeks. I just didn't. You know, um, but I mean they're taking it by storm. They have a chance, and you know they might do it. They might go back to back, but I don't think it's going to happen. Jeff Webster's come on here a few times and said it's not going to happen. There's only been two Alabama teams. There was one in the 60s, and then there's one the 2012 and 2011 teams went back to back. That was it. We'll see. I just don't see a championship team this year. Like, I mean, obviously they're always a contender, but I just I see one willing to compete. I just don't see one that has what it takes to win it. I just don't. And I'm sorry. Next year, these guys are going to have experience. The O line's going to step up. Bryce Young will be fresh, have some experience and everything. The defense hopefully is a little bit more improved. I mean, it's carrying us, but still, we'll see. UAB and Louisiana Tech. I'll always pull for the Blazers. I think they'll win that. Penn State, Maryland could be interesting. Penn State has got to figure some stuff out. They're another surprise team. I figured they'd be better this year, which in ways they are, but they're 2-3 in conference play, and they've lost the last 3 games. I get the Iowa loss. I don't understand the 9 overtimes to Illinois, and I do not understand how you lose in Columbus. Well, I kind of do, and I know Ohio State's good. I'm still not buying Ohio State this year. Don't get it twisted. But I mean, if Penn State loses this game, should James Franklin be on the hot seat? Oh, who did I just piss off? Let me know. I mean, seriously. You hired James Franklin in what, 2015 or 16? A few years back? After Bill O'Brien? You have all this go on. Hey, what's up, Neo? How you doing? Anyone's welcome to join in the stream, too. I put the link. But, so, and don't get me wrong, I love James Franklin. Amazing head coach, amazing recruiter, amazing, it seems like a really good human being. I don't hate him. But Penn State has put up with it. They're not even ranked right now. They're not ranked. Now, I get they had a rough 2020 year, but I figured they'd improve this year, and they have. Right? I mean, they have. I think if Sean Clifford doesn't get hurt against Iowa, that's a game they could get back. Their defense is amazing. They're scoring 26.3 points a game, so their offense isn't really all that explosive. Dotson is a key receiver. Noah Cain's a good running back. It's just not where it should be, if anything. I think they're going to beat Maryland. Penn State needs to end the losing streak. They do. It's a 10-point spread. You're on the road. Both these teams are 5-3 and 2-3 in conference play. Give me Penn State to win this one over Maryland. Tali is actually having a better year, one of his better years that he's had in a few years. But that defense is abysmal. It is really, really bad for Maryland. Penn State's defense is far better. They will get it done. And, look, Penn State needs this one. Not only are they going to get it, they need it. Let me put a final score up for you guys. I think Penn State will get the job done. They end the losing streak. They could still, they're literally one win away from being bowl eligible, but they got to be careful because, if they continue whatever mistakes or anything that's going on, and a lot of people are actually calling for Franklin to be fired. They are. I want to say Penn State does get it done. Franklin's not going anywhere. He's not going to be fired. He's not getting the boot. He'll be fine. Give me 36-17 Penn State over Maryland. And look, believe me, Penn State, they have to win this game. I think they will, 36-17. But if you're Penn State, you're looking to lose the ending streak, or end the losing streak. Lose the ending streak, what the hell? End the losing streak. Get back to winning football games. Again, they're 5-3. You need one win if you want to at least make a bowl game. And let's double check something too. What is their schedule? Maryland, win. Michigan, that's in question. We'll see. Rutgers, you better win that. And then at Michigan State, I like the Spartans. 1, 2. I could see 7-4 or 8-5. 8-4 or 7-5. Got it mixed up there for Penn State overall this season. But again, this is not where they need to be. This is not where they should be. At the very least, you say, well, it's improvement from last year. But last year didn't mean anything for really anybody except for the playoff teams in Alabama. That was it. But Penn State should win this ball game, should get it done. I see no reason why they won't. So, anyway. Penn State with a win over Maryland and potentially winning the rest of the season in 2021. We'll see. Ohio State, think they went out, have a legit shot to run. That's possible. It's tough, but it's possible. It can happen. Don't forget, I'm going live tomorrow, too, for LSU and Alabama. That's a big one. I said 47-23 Alabama over LSU. I already got my preview video and everything out. LSU does have some good offense. I hope we shut them down, but I just have a feeling they're going to put some points up. But Alabama's going to score a lot more and just find a way to just shut them down. But we scored 55 on them last year. I don't expect that, but OSU, Bama, and Georgia are clear cuts to win the Natty. It's going to be one of those three, but we don't know. It's not, I mean, look, this is what pisses me off is y'all, we just know who it's going to be. Um, you know, we really don't. I mean, Georgia, for all we know, could be frauds and they lose the SEC title to Alabama or Auburn, whichever team. And then, you know, Michigan State, I'm telling you, man, I like watching them. Anyway, feel free to join in if you want to. I dropped the link. Anyone's welcome on. I don't care. LW, the top the top four is okay with me. I think they picked 2 through 4 because if Bama, Michigan State, and Oregon went out, they are in no matter what. Pressure's on those teams now to do it. If they don't, the other teams will move up. Yeah, I would agree. I could see that. Plus, you got to look at resumes. Now Alabama's looked okay since that A&M loss, but I mean it's. See, here's what I can't wrap my head around is the fact you did because Alabama lost to an unranked team. They lost to an unranked A&M team. You have Ohio State, whose only loss is Oregon. And people are hyping up CJ Stroud. Oh, look at them. They're just so dominant. Look at them. They can score. Their defense sucks, but I mean, okay. I'm not even. I don't know. I don't know if they really got it right. Alabama in the top 10, duh. Top 5 for sure. But number 2? You left Cincinnati out of the top 4. You left Oklahoma, who's at least undefeated. Well, they have struggled wins, but I guess there's really not a whole lot of options, at least in terms like if you did put certain teams in there, there'd definitely be a riot. If Bama beats number 1 Georgia, it will be the best win by anybody all year. Oh, for sure. And if it is Georgia and Alabama, which I know a lot of people are expecting it to be, of course, I think that's what it's going to be. I have confidence in this team. At least to go beat Auburn. Come on. If Bama beats number 1 Georgia, it will be the best win by anybody all year. It'd be the biggest upset of the year. What an upset. What an upset. You know why? Because Georgia's not supposed to lose a game. Stetson Bennett and Georgia can't lose a game. They're talented. This is the year for Kirby Smart. Kirby just needs to win the SEC again at the league. Forget national titles. I know you Georgia fans out there want that, but his ceiling is the SEC right now. For now. Not saying he can't do it. Not saying he can't win it all. Just focus on getting back to winning the SEC championship. You haven't done that since 2017. And with all the talent you have yet to win it again. Just win the SEC for right now. That's all you have to do, Georgia. Just win the SEC. I understand. We're the number one team. We got the best defense in college football. We have Jordan Davis, Adam Anderson. We got so many talented players, and Kirby's got that mindset. He can win. I know you Georgia fans are looking too far ahead. Bama's been there, done that. We look at Oklahoma. We're not saying just win the Big 12. No, Oklahoma needs to finally win a playoff game. We know they can win the Big 12. We know that they can make it to the playoffs, but can they win? We're looking at let's see, who's in Oregon? Right? We're looking at them like, okay, can you stay where you are? Can you have only the one loss, run the table, and just win the Pac 12? Let's say do that. But it's really more so Oregon looking at the committee, isn't it? Hey, we're right here. We're one loss Pac 12 champs. Can you put us in, please? There's certain teams out there that do a lot of things right, like a Georgia, like even Cincinnati. There's so many teams out there. They do stuff right. And we know what they can do, but they got to take that next step. Or we've seen them do it at least one time. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's possible. And yeah, they could do that. So you have, I mean, Georgia, listen, Georgia fans, I understand you want a national title. It's been 41 years. It's time to put the dogs back on top of college football. I understand that. I get that. Kirby this, Kirby that. Look at his recruiting. Look at him. He's got the best defense in the nation. He's a good mindset. Yeah, and guess what? He hasn't won the SEC but one time. And when you won the SEC, let's just call it what it is, that was over Auburn. Now, Auburn was a pretty good team in 2017. They had some wins. Stuff played their way. It was kind of like a weird year like this year, right? Still, win the SEC and get back into the playoffs. Then we'll talk about the title. Then we'll talk about it. Go beat Auburn or Alabama or whoever it is out of the West this year. Get in the playoffs, and then we'll talk. And then you can say, just win a natty, just win a natty. Because then you're actually in position for that. Then you literally are like a game away. And that's it. So, Georgia, just win the SEC, at least for right now. You've already locked up the East. I think that's official and finalized. Just wait for who your opponent is going to be in 1 month on December 4th, 4 weeks from tomorrow, and take care of that. I honestly don't think Bama gets by Georgia, though. It's hard to say, actually. Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow if Kirby beats Saban. I mean, it's like it finally happened, and, he did it, and it's the biggest shock. And, yeah, no, Bama can't get by Georgia. We can't. We don't. See, here's the thing. Bama, yes, of course, they're Alabama. But like I've been saying, it's not that I don't want to see them go back to back. I want to see Alabama win every game. But I just got to be honest sometimes. Bama doesn't have a championship level team this year. We have all this great talent. We win championships all the time, every other year, every 2-3 years, whatever it is. But, like, I didn't see that from us in 2014. I didn't see it in 20 well, I guess really the last time I could say that was 2014. 2019, I thought we were doing okay. And if Tua didn't get hurt, does the Iron Bowl turn out differently? Well, I don't know. We had Mac Jones playing, so maybe, I don't know. This just is not Bama's year. That's all I've been trying to say. It's just not their year. That's okay. Let it be for someone else one time. Because 22 is the year of Alabama. They're going to have these guys that are inexperienced now, and they're going to come back. They're going to come back with a vengeance, grounded their teeth, and ready to fight and ready to roll.
All that says, you about to roll with the time.
Hicks.
Nice execution.
You're doing terrific.
Hey.
That's all I've been trying to say. I want Alabama to win it. I just don't see it this year. I just don't think it's our year. Yeah, I mean, of course they got the talent and the tools, but I just don't. It's just not going to happen. It's just not it. And these guys are young. Anyone's welcome on here. Somebody get in here. Let's actually talk some football. I've been reading comments. All afternoon. I don't know. No. Crimson says, Neo, stop acting like teams can't score on them. We've heard this about Georgia's defense for years. When they finally play an elite offense, they get scored on. Well, they haven't even faced an elite offense this year. Even Clemson is just a disappointment. They really don't have an elite offense coming up. And quite honestly, guys, I mean, look, here's the thing about Alabama's offense. Is that let's just be real, I really haven't seen them play much of an elite defense yet either. So, of course, yeah, they scored so many points on Mercer. Who is that? Miami. They've fallen off. Ole Miss. They at least outscored Matt Corral, the Heisman favorite, at least him and Bryce Young, although I'm sure that Auburn loss kind of ruined some things. But, I mean, I'm ready to see Alabama's offense get tested. They haven't played an elite defense this year. Crimson says that's his point. LW says, Bama in a loss against a top 10 defense scored 38. 375 yards, QB, 147 rushing. Aggies average giving up 16 points a game. And then LW says the defense lost that game. That's fair. Maybe Alabama's offense is, I don't know if I really want to say it's elite, but it's still really good. But again, I still really think that the true test for both of these teams are going to be if they do face. And I say if because, again, we're looking at a winner-take-all Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. Auburn wasn't even good in 2019. They still beat Alabama. Now, they were good in 2017. I give them credit. And, yeah, the defense lost that game too. in the 19, not 17. We have to get past Auburn. That's a given. And, say whatever, that's no problem. Auburn's terrible. Y'all don't understand that Jordan Hare is a very tough, loud, toxic environment. It's toxic. God. All those trees. They rolling with TP. You got that eagle soaring, although respect to eagles and America and all that. But, you look, that's a tough crowd. That's a tough environment. That's going to be packed. And that's what's going to decide the West, unless Auburn does lose to A&M. But again, like earlier, I just have a feeling that they'll pull it out and maybe get it done. But we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens. I really don't know. But again, I had earlier 28-24 Auburn. So Alabama has to go in and handle that environment. Now, I'll say this. The defense better show up for this game. Because Bryce Young is amazing. And I'm sorry for the criticism. Right? It's not that I'm doubting him. I'm more so, first off, that offensive line has got to get better. And it seems like it is in some ways, but it's still not at the point where it needs to be because he's got to have protection. Sorry. And I do agree, Crimson, that yes, the defense lost that A&M game. That was a tough road environment. And Bryce handled it pretty well. If the defense fails on November 28th, or 27th, I'm sorry. That's the Iron Bowl. If they fail on November 27th, Alabama's season is over. If they show up, they're still alive. And there's hope for a repeat. And win or lose the title this year, even if they don't win it, let's just call it what it is. Alabama runs college football. I'm not even saying that out of bias. I don't know if we actually have 18 titles. I really don't buy that. I've even said, look, Saban's got 7. He's got 1 at LSU. So he technically has 6 at Alabama. The Bear had 6. That's 12. And you count the 92 team with Stallings, that's 13. So it might not be 18, but it is double digits. And it's still more than any other program out there. Period. So we can lose it all we want to this year. They're still the best program historically in college football. They might not be the best team this season. But Alabama's, look, I saw a meme the other day, and it's actually pretty true. It had a picture of Nick Saban making a funny face, and it said, listen, I'm not going anywhere for a while, so until I'm gone, y'all are still playing for second place. That's practically it. And I'm proud of every Bama team, regardless of outcome. I'm always going to be a Bama fan until I die. That's a promise. Neo says Golding needs to go. I agree with that. And listen, I like Pete Golding in the sense he seems like he could go coach a defense somewhere, but he's definitely not to the Bama standards. He's not a Jeremy Pruitt. He's not a Kirby Smart. He's not a someone give me another one. We've had a few of them. He's not any of those guys. He's not. He's not bad. He's inconsistent. And when there's pressure for the defense, okay, you have to get a stop here. You have to. No, just give up a run on third and 6 or 7, whatever. Seriously. Neo says, I think Bama has more legitimate titles than Bryant's and Saban's. Yeah, because of Gene's. Oh, or are you actually saying like combine the Bear and Saban, and Bama probably does have more titles than that? At least for what I know to be true, I know the Bear did have 6. I know Saban has 6 at Bama. He's got 7. Again, 1 with LSU from 03. So if you count the 6 from Saban that he has at least at Alabama, you count Bears 6, that's 12. And I know about the 92 team that stopped Miami, which, by the way, ran their mouths all week that year. I know about all that. But anyways, again, if anyone wants to come on here and talk, you can. I dropped the link a couple times, but if y'all just like hanging out in the comments, that's cool too. Again, I want Alabama to win every game. I've said it. I want that. I just don't think it's our year to win it all. But again, 22, 23, 24, they are recruiting and recruiting still. Still. They ain't going anywhere. That's cool, Neo. Probably isn't 18, but more than 13. Oh, I know. Wallace Wade was a key coach for Alabama historically back in the 20s and 30s. How many did he have? 1923 to 26, 1927 to 30. The last Wallace Wade team in the 1930, 24-0 over Washington State in the Rose Bowl, voted number 1 by several organizations during the pre-AP poll era. They claimed the 1930 national title. Okay, there's that. I mean, if several organizations vote you number 1, I mean, you practically have the right to say that's your title, right? Just saying. And shout out to the Braves for winning the World Series, too. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. I really don't have anything else. Again, I dropped the link a few times. Nobody came on. Really just bored today, honestly. I mean, it is seriously, yeah, it's just been one of those slow and crazy days. So, but anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be live tomorrow again for the Bama LSU game. You got the 3:30 Eastern game with Auburn and Texas A&M. That'll be a good one. A lot of great football content tomorrow. Maybe even get something out tonight too. I don't know, but love you guys. Keep your head up. Jesus loves you. God bless. And as always, folks, from an Alabama fan,
okay. Roll down Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. Love y'all. Ballard's checking out.
Hold on. Greenbow, Alabama.